Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. It is online teaching program. Saima Fatma is here to teach you. In the previous lecture, you studied future continuous tense. Today, we are going to study a text lesson on the grasshopper and cricket. It is a poem written by John Keats. John Keats was born in 1795 and died in 1821. He was an English romantic poet and one of the main figures in the second romantic movement with Percy Shelley and Lord Byron. John Keats died when he was 25 years old, and most of his works were published 4 years before his death. He wrote most of his poems between 1814 and 1819. Keats challenged poetic forms and created his own distinct literary configuration. He is known particularly for his odes, which he wrote in 1819. These are characterized for their great and powerful imagery. During his lifetime, he published 54 poems in 3 small volumes and a few magazines. John Keats' most recognized works include I Stood Tiptoe Upon a Little Hill, Sleep and Poetry, On First Looking into Chapman's Homer, Endymion, Ode to a Nightingale to Autumn, among others. On the Grasshopper and Cricket was written in 1816. As one of the main figures of the Romantic movement, John Keats portrayed the beauty of nature and its capacity to bring joy in his poems. On the Grasshopper and Cricket praises the continuous beauty of nature by taking into account the song of the two particular insects, the grasshopper and the cricket. The poem has 14 lines and it can be divided into one octet and one sestet, following the Petrarchan sonnet form. It has an ABBA rhyme scheme and it is written in iambic pentameter. The use of this form can be associated with Keats' belief regarding love and nature and how they are both related to each other. According to the poet, nature offers love and joy, and the human response should correspond that fondness. Setting of the poem. The mood of the poem is joyous. The poem seeks to celebrate the cause of the grasshopper and the cricket. In short, the voice of nature herself. The setting is almost luxurious as it celebrates all phases of nature. Then is the central idea. What is the central idea of this poem? The central idea of the poem is the tenacity of the grasshopper and the cricket to provide us entertainment and joy through their respective songs. Their songs are the poetry of earth, poetry that never ceases to be, even during extreme circumstances. Then is the tone of the poem. The tone of the poem is celebratory. Keats uses his language skills to perpetuate the romantic ideals in this poem. The poem reeks of the romantic touch of grandeur, and it almost reads like an ode on the natural language of the earth. Now we are going to study the poem. First of all, vocabulary: faint, weak and tired; new mown, newly cut; meet, a meadow; lead, be best, first; ceasing, stopping; luxury, enjoyments; wheat, wild plants; lone, lonely; frost, minute ice crystals formed when water vapor condenses at a temperature below freezing; wrote, formed, fashioned; shrill, shouts; drowsiness, sleepiness; tired, wearied, exhausted; delights, pleasures; beneath, under. Now the first stanza of the poem. The first part of the poem, the octet, celebrates the earth in all its forms. It says that poetry of earth is never dead. The earth provides poetry in the form of the songs of the birds or the calls of the bees. However, when the summer sun is too hot and strong, the birds find it difficult to keep up their routine. They find shelter from the scorching heat in trees that provide ample shade and hence are cooling. But the grasshopper doesn't cease its song. Its voice runs throughout the freshly mown meadows untiringly. Even in the sultry summer days, he never stops his chants. The grasshopper doesn't feel faint under the sun. For him, even the summer is a time for joy. Hence, when he has had his fill of fun, he finds comfort under some weed or long grass stalks. Then is the second stanza of the poem. The sestet begins with the earlier declaration that the poetry of the earth is forever. It is never ending. During the cold, harsh winters, when one is numbed by the cold, only one voice is heard that calls out to one in drowsy evenings by the fire, and that is the cricket. The poet tells us that during the winters, instead of growing quiet of the cold, the cricket finds a corner in some kitchen near a stove and belts out its song. The warmth coming from the stove mingles with the warm tones of the cricket who tries to keep one entertained. This song perhaps reminds one who is half asleep that the grasshopper is probably out on some grassy hill singing its heart out. Now we are going to discuss themes of this poem. First of all, nature. Nature is a major theme in this sonnet. Nature is seen as a reverent figure throughout this poem. It is not difficult to trace the influence the natural world has on Keats as one reads this poem. The first line begins with a declaration that the poetry of the earth is never dead. This declaration is followed by Keats trying to explain why not. In the course of 14 lines, Keats alludes to birds, the sun, trees, hedges, meadows, frost and grassy hills. All of the aforementioned are the popular motifs of a nature poem. Keats doesn't end here. He alludes to some of these motifs along with their inherent qualities or their purposes. For example, he alludes to the heat of the sun, the cool shade provided by the trees, or the pleasantness of a certain area of grass or wheat. Last but not the least, Keats uses the grasshopper and the cricket as the symbols of summer and winter respectively. And then is the next theme of this poem, and it is seasons. Summer and winter are seen as two parallel pairs who sustain the natural world. Keats posits them side by side as two parameters against which all the cycles of the natural world have to be tested. After this putting nature through the test, Keats concurs that grasshopper and the cricket are the ones that can overcome all strife, including the extreme temperatures. And then is the next theme of this poem, and it is hope. Both the grasshopper and the cricket are the symbols of hope. They continue in their daily rituals even when other creatures cannot. They provide everyone with the hope that no matter how hard the situation is, there is always a way to overcome them. The grasshopper takes rest in some pleasant weed to freshen itself so it can provide the poetry of the earth for the entire natural world to listen. The cricket finds its voice even in the midst of frost when the whole of creation finds itself silenced. Thus hope is what constitutes the poetry of the earth. Next is tenacity. The grasshopper and the cricket also symbolize tenacity. In spite of extreme temperatures, they refuse to give up. They carry on their jobs if the summer heat or the winter frost cannot stop their joy. Even when the birds faint due to the heat, or all the creatures retire to their nest and or shelter to escape the cold, the grasshopper and the cricket take it upon themselves to keep the poetry of the earth alive. Thus, this poem talks of tenacity and dedication to pursue one's passion. And then is the next theme. It is beauty. Beauty is perhaps one of the most used themes in Keats' poetry. He was an ardent believer of beauty in its classical sense. More often than not, Keats used the beauty of language to express the beauty of nature. In this poem, the poet expresses the beauty of nature through its various phases. He finds beauty in the harsh as well as the mellow side of nature. He finds beauty in both the hot summer sun and the cool shade provided by the trees. Similarly, the winter has its own beauty as the frost spins a silence upon the earth. He also talks of the warmth in the voice of the cricket that compensates the numbness of the cold. The beauty of nature lies in its balance. So we can say that the poem is then a message close to Keats' heart. He believed in the immortality of poetry, beauty, and endurance of life. Keats felt together all these components in this sonnet as an inspiration to his readers and perhaps to future poets like him. Well, guys, we have studied the poem. Now we are going to do its comprehension questions. Exercise A1. Question number 1. Which line in the poem is similar to the first and expresses the same idea? The poetry of the earth is ceasing never. This line is similar to the first and expresses the same idea. Second question. Whose voice will run from hedge to hedge? Why do you think the voice sounds in the hedges? Answer is the grasshopper's voice will run from hedge to hedge. His voice sounds in the hedges because this is where he roams. Then is question number 3. Where do the birds hide and why? The birds hide in the cool trees because the summer sun is too hot and they find it difficult to keep up their routine. Question number 4. Does the grasshopper tire and how does he then behave? Answer is yes, he tires. Then he rests at ease under some pleasant weed. Question number 5. What time of day is described in the second part of the poem? In the second part of the poem, evening is described. Question number 6. What creates the silence? The frost creates the silence. Then is question number 7. Why does the cricket song sound to the poet like that of the grasshoppers? The cricket song sounds to the poet like that of the grasshoppers because both are the part of nature's persistent and loving force. Both symbolize hope and tenacity. Question number 8. What is meant by the phrase, he takes the lead in summer luxury? Where does the poet get this idea? Answer is, when all the other creatures are faint with the hot sun, the grasshopper continues hopping and singing. He enjoys life and he is always having fun. Perhaps the poet gets this idea from the fable The Ant and the Grasshopper. Then is the question number 9. Why do you think the poet expresses the same idea twice, in the first line and in the ninth? The main message of the poem is nature, its eternal delights, and its persistent presence. The poet expresses the same idea in the first and the ninth line to emphasize the persistent quality of nature. Then is the last question of this exercise. What is the difference between a grasshopper and a cricket? Find out 3 or 4 differences: appearance, auditory organs, activity, feeding habits. The answer is grasshopper has short antenna, makes sound by rubbing back legs against wings, has ears at base of abdomen, is active during the day, mostly eats grass. Whereas cricket has long antenna, makes sound by rubbing wings together, has ears on front legs, is active at dusk, eats grass at animal matter. Now we are going to do first part of exercise B. What is the question? Find words in the poem as described below. First one, a past tense and past participle of work. What is its answer? Done. Second one, an adjective meaning chilling or temperature reducing. The answer is cooling. C, pleasures or enjoyments. It is delights. Number 4, a creature of the Locustidae family of insects. What is its answer? Grasshopper. Number 5, a creature of the Grylidae family of insects. It is cricket. Number 6, 3 words of 3 syllables each. They are poetry, luxury, drowsiness. Number 7, 2 final words in 2 separate lines that should or could be abbreviated with an apostrophe in order to keep the meter. These 2 words are never and ever. Now we are going to do second part of exercise B. In this exercise you have been given some words. You have to tell the synonyms of these words. what is the first word? Heat. What would be its synonym? Warmth. And second word is appears. Its synonym would be shrills. And what is the third word? Meadow. What would be its synonym? Mead. And then is the fourth word. It is agreeable and its synonym would be pleasant. And then is the last word. It is sleepiness and its synonym would be drowsiness. Third part of exercise B is about simile. So first of all, we are going to look at simile. What is a simile? A figure of speech in which two apparently unlike things are explicitly compared in a phrase introduced by like or as. Let us study some examples. Number 1. He is as fast as a horse. Number 2. It is as cold as ice. Number 3. Their leader was as wise as an owl. Number 4. Her sister was as sweet as honey. So the phrases like as sweet as honey, as wise as an owl, as cold as ice, as fast as a horse, they are the similes. Third part of exercise B. Complete these well-known similes. As bright as button, as fat as a hippo, as brittle as glass, as fierce as a lion, as brown as a berry, as fit as a fiddle, as changeable as weather, as happy as a lark, as dead as a doornail, as gaudy as a peacock, as deaf as post, as harmless as a dove, as different as chalk and cheese, as heavy as lead, as fair as morning. Now we are going to do first part of exercise C. In this exercise, some words have been given. You have to correct the incorrect spellings. Correct spellings are first word tiger, Tiger. Second word leaves, Leaves. Third word rockery, Rockery. Fourth word crooked, Crooked. Fifth one shrubberies, Shrubberies. Sixth one strawberries, Strawberries. Salmon, candle, Kennel. Number 8 fountain, Fountain. Ninth word is newspaper. It is already correct. Number 10 opening, Opening. Number 11 somber, Somber. It is already correct. Number 12 sailors, Sailors. Number 13 innocent, Innocent. Number 14 solitary. It is already correct. Number 15 mockery, Mockery. Then is the second part of exercise B. Is there a difference? Explain the following. Here some statements have been given. You have to tell the difference between them. A. First part. The blue and white shirts were soon covered in dust. Second. The blue and the white shirts were soon covered in dust. First statement means that each shirt is blue and white, whereas second one means some of these shirts are blue and others are white. Part B. First one. Every player on the winning team was presented with a short and long photograph. Number 2. Every player on the winning team was presented with a short and a long photograph. The first part means that every player got one photograph, whereas the second part means that every player got two photographs. Well, students, we have read the poem on the grasshopper and the cricket and done its exercises. Hopefully, you understood. Your today's home task is do the exercise A1 in your NEET notebooks. Okay, girls, Allah Hafiz.